back to From the South. And now let's begin with our special segment with our colleague Belen de los Santos. Hi, Belen.
Thank you, Alejandra, and welcome to this special segment dedicated to follow all the latest in the days leading up to the U.S. presidential elections of 2024. My name is Belen de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. Stay with us. And we begin with the information. With 6 days until 2024 election, voters in the U.S. are already casting their ballots as early voting is underway in some states. According to the election lab at the University of Florida, as of Wednesday afternoon, more than 57.5 million U.S. citizens have voted, with over 30 million exercising their right early in person and about 27 million doing so via early mail. The numbers come in a context where Kamala Harris' campaign has pushed for Democratic voters to utilize early voting more aggressively, while Donald Trump has been critical of this modality. And the candidates are intensifying their campaign event to get the undecided vote in key states. Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump are in the final stretch of their presidential race and fully immersed in the battle to win votes ahead of the November 5th polls. During her closing arguments in Washington, celebs decide of Trump's January 6, 2021 rally, Kamala Harris focused on a final plea against the Republican candidate, urging the country to move beyond violent divisions. The Democratic nominee, who has been running for only 3 months in a compressed campaign launched after President Joe Biden dropped out of the race, aimed her closing rally at undermining Trump's character and leadership, strategically focusing on the divisiveness of his speech. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate Donald Trump visited Allentown in Pennsylvania on October 29th after an escalation in controversies over Puerto Rico remarks. The former president returned to Pennsylvania after a comedian at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally sparked controversy among the U.S. Latin American community. The visit to Allentown, where the Hispanic population makes up to 55% of the total, was an opportunity for the former president to appeal to Latinos after different groups denounced the racist and disrespectful jokes made by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage at his New York rally.
It's interesting because I've done more. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
In this context, dozens of Latinos protested in the streets of Allentown, Pennsylvania, in rejection of the racist comments made by Hinchcliffe. Pennsylvania is one of the key states to determine the outcome of the U.S. elections due to the strong presence of Hispanic residents, 450,000 of whom are from Puerto Rico. In the face of the controversy, dozens of Puerto Rican artists spoke out on social networks, repudiating the comments made by Hinchcliffe and, in turn, expressing their support to Kamala Harris in the upcoming polls. And with November 5th fast approaching, we analyzed the Electoral College to dissect just how does this cornerstone of the U.S. election process works. Let's see.
The Electoral College is a sort of intrigue for some who don't understand how it works. Since its creation, this form of indirect election of the president is not a physical place. It is a process that begins with choosing the electors who cast their votes for president and vice president, as well as the counting of votes for Congress. The Electoral College is composed of 538 electors, each state having several electors equal to its seats in Congress. That is, one of each of its members in the House of Representatives and the Senate. Each state chooses its electors in a different way, but generally they are selected by political party of the presidential candidate in that state. Although each state had its law to regulate how the electoral system works, most states implement a winner-take-all system where all electors' votes are awarded to the candidate who wins the state's popular votes. The electoral process begins with the general election, which is held every 4 years of the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. By voting for a presidential candidate, the U.S. citizens are voting for the candidate's preferred constituency. On election day, a prior winner is usually announced on the evening of the same voting date, according to the government's website. After the general elections, the state executives prepare a certificate of assertment that lists the names of the designated electors and the votes each individual received. This certificate is sent to the National Archives to become part of the official record of the presidential election. The meeting of the electors takes place in the first Tuesday after the second Wednesday in December, and electors vote for president and vice presidents on separate ballots. These votes are recorded on a certificate of votes, which is sent to the Congress and to the National Archives. The electoral votes of each state are counted at a joint session of Congress on January 6. The process concludes with a joint session of Congress at which, under the office of the Vice President of the United States, the votes of the electors are counted and the new president-elect is officially declared. According to the United States National Archive, the president-elect is sworn in as president of the nation on January the 20th of the year following the general elections.
And that's all for today in this special segment in which we analyze the latest on the road to the U.S. election day. Stay tuned for teleSUR English as we continue bringing you the latest updates, and join us next week for our special media coverage, U.S. Decides 2024. Back to you, Alejandra.
Thank you, Belen. We were listening to our colleague Belen de los Santos with an overview of the upcoming general elections in the United States. And with this special segment that will be live also on Thursday, October 31st, 8 p.m. Caracas time, we have come to the end of this news brief. But you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net, and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For teleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.